Yeah. I love the Lemans video that you did, and you're showing like where you're sleeping that night, and people are asking. I think you do the video, and it's kind of like a Q&A, and
Yeah.
it's like if you stay in a hotel, you're never getting to the track on time. So we're staying in these containers, which is actually luxury containers
Oh, it
in
is.
the tent
Yeah.
city.
It's yeah because a couple steps below that is sleeping in your car. That's luxury.
Mm.
Even more below that is sleeping in a tent right next to the track. If you can imagine how loud these cars are,
Oh yeah.
and it rains a lot there. Uh, it's just like a mud pit. And could you imagine like the facilities, the restrooms? It's just a nightmare for us. It was already crazy that we had to. It's like these containers, 3 of us per container, and we had these co-ed showers and bathrooms. And I'm like, this is so weird and scary. Like I have to put a towel out to let people know that I'm using the shower.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's luxury compared to having to sleep on the floor or in the mud.
Yeah, you actually had a shower, right?
Yeah, I had a shower. Yeah.
Yeah. How was that, like shooting that, Le Mans for the first time and going through the whole parade and stuff? Like, what was that experience like?
Le Mans, it's a bucket list event, and I'm actually really glad that I shot it when I did, when they still had LMP1 cars, because of course, going forward, potentially there won't be those crazy prototype cars anymore. It was definitely a bucket list item, and I just can't believe that it happened still. Like the whole time it felt like a dream because of how exhausted I was. But also now looking back on it, I look at the pictures and I think to myself, like, it's crazy that they exist at all.
Yeah, the pit lane shot of the Porsche in the rain comes to mind.
Yeah, so that actually was shot
Was
at
that
the
Sebring?
1,000 kilometers of Sebring.
Okay, I remember. Yeah,
But
that's
but I have so many similar shots. One of my favorites actually was of a Ferrari. Which what's funny is I've been selling those prints to kind of keep busy, and it's been really helping us a lot during these times. And these fans are crazy. Like this guy in Israel bought a print of that Ferrari, and he's like, "What number was it? What place was it at the time? What, all of that? What place did it finish? All that." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm just gonna do the homework for this guy because he seems like such a big fan." I looked it up. He finished 28th overall or whatever. He's number this, and my guesstimate at the time he was this place
yeah,
in the race. It's so crazy. It's cool that they're getting into that kind of detail.
yeah. Is Dave Lister from the UK?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, Dave is a good buddy of mine, and he's a pretty much legendary status in terms of being an automotive photographer. And he's inspired me so much. And a lot of people, one of the questions that I pretty much have to answer every interview is, who inspires you? He's someone who definitely inspires me.
sure.
Just my peer, but also he's been around. He's been shooting racing longer than I've been alive. And you can tell, he's one of the few old timers. He's going to hate me for calling him an old timer. He's one of the few legends that transcended, from film photography to digital, and he used it to his advantage.
Mhm.
So he's always pretty much shot, I think, the same way. But once we got to digital, I think it transformed the way he shoots even more because he could be riskier and riskier and riskier. This guy, he really taught me shooting, how to shoot at like a quarter of a second, even half a second pans. This guy does. It's insane how steady his hands are. My hands aren't that steady, and people always wonder, why am I machine gunning all the time? Why am I laying on the shutter? It's because I'm not that steady, and I have to use the technology to my advantage to overcome that. And
Yeah.
but when I see him shoot, he's shooting fifth of a second, fourth of a second pans, and he's getting actual sharp, usable shots all day, every day. I can't do that. I just have to use technology to overcome that.
Yeah, that's one of the good things as well that I like though, is the fact that, like, you know, you, through just pure repetition of, get the shots. And I think one of the
Mhm.
comments you made in a video is, if I get 1 of 10, I'm lucky, and like
Oh,
I'm lucky and like that's why you take average of 750 photos a
yeah,
day,
yeah,
because
yeah.
you're gonna
One
get
of 10 is a really, really good hit rate.
yeah.
One of 100 is typically what it's like for me. If I'm going for that one, like the one. For example, one of my favorite shots from last year was at Daytona, 24 hours. It's like that shot that I shot through the Christmas lights of
Oh
that
yeah,
Corvette.
yeah. Hmm.
That was probably 1 out of 250. you know. But guess what? What does it matter if it's 249 outtakes? That one is I'm very proud of, and I'm lucky that Canon, one of my partners that I work with, Canon has been so proud of it, and they've been printing it out, using it at trade shows before this whole pandemic thing, and they've been kind of promoting photography, promoting their cameras using that photo. That
Yeah.
makes me happy, because part of it is that it's not so much a car photo anymore. It transcended being a car photo, and it's turned into something that normal photographers can actually relate to.
Hmm. Yeah, and to that point, like, I think during the video it's great because you go up and you explain why you're in that spot and why you went up there and you saw these lights, and that's another thing. I think that anyone has enough money to go out and buy one of these cameras, right? But it's the way you take photos, it's where you are, and that's what makes the shots what they are, right? I mean, anyone can stand in the middle of a street and
Yeah.
take a picture of a car, but you know are you down on the ground? Are you up in the stands? Like, that's what makes. And that shot exactly is shooting through Christmas lights. Like, that was awesome.
It's different. It's definitely putting in the hours, and I can't tell you. Um, Day in and day out, I get so many messages about people saying, "Hey, I'm starting this car page. What's the quickest way to get likes?" Or, "Hey, I want to do what you're doing. What's basically the overnight way to do it?" I my simple answer is to say, I usually just say, "Hey, shoot what you love," because guess what? I love cars. I love racing. That's what I shoot.
Yeah.
Well, what I don't say is, "Hey, shoot it for 15 years straight."